that great game show. And we were spending time with each other. AR Gravity, any day above ground living. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your Monday. Um, yeah, Beyonce won awards, Kendrick won awards. They mad at Janelle Monáe. White people upset at Beyonce for winning. Who cares? Um, you saw the title and the thumbnail. Good morning to the room. How y'all doing? We gonna have fun. We gonna know. I know they're coming, family. Pause. Let them go. I don't want nobody blocked today. Please. I don't even care if they call me all type of monkey or N-word. I don't want nobody blocked. Please, mods. Respect me today. I know it's Black History Month, first day. Respect me today, please. Let them go. Please. Can I get confirmation? I know I'm close. Please. But we have to start it off correctly. Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. And I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, black, black. Okay. That's our Black History Month prayer. So, let's talk. Trump came out with a memorandum the other day. I don't know if you saw it. Here you go. National Black History Month 2025. He came out with this January 31st. I'm going to see if I can... I guess I can't really... I was hoping I could zoom in on here, but I guess I can't. So we're going to do it this way. And it got them folk all happy. So it says, by President of the United States of America, a proclamation. Today, I'm very honored to recognize February 2025 as National Black History Month. Every year, National Black History Month is an occasion to celebrate the contributions of so many Black American patriots. You see how they left black lowercase. Well, that's what's up, Eddie Foster. I'm glad you had a good time. Every year, the National Black History Month is an occasion to celebrate the contributions of so many Black American patriots who have indelibly shaped our nation's history. But you're over there talking about DEI all day. But okay. Throughout our history, he did it again, black is lowercase, Black Americans have been among the country's most consequential leaders, shaping the cultural and political destiny of our nation in profound ways. American heroes such as Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Thomas Sowell, Justice Clarence Thomas, and countless others represent what is best in America and her citizens. Their achievements, which have monumentally advanced the tradition of equality under the law in our great country, continue to serve as an inspiration for all Americans. We will also never forget the achievements of American greats like Tiger Woods, who have pushed the boundaries of excellence in their respective fields, paving the way for others to follow. This National Black History Month, as America prepares to enter a historic golden age, I want to extend my tremendous gratitude to, he did it again, black is lowercase, Americans for all they have done to bring us this moment and for the many future contributions they will make as we advance into a future of limitless possibility under my administration. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim February 2025 as National Black History Month. I call upon public officials, educators, librarians, and all the people of the United States to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. In witness whereof, I have hereon to set my hand this 31st day of January in the year of our Lord 2025, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 249th. I'm pretty sure he didn't write this. He probably dictated, somebody else wrote it. Okay. We got to talk about this Thomas Sowell part. I didn't realize we're giving government operatives distinctions like this. Let me explain something to you. If you're black and you're celebrating this man, you need to go somewhere. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being dead serious. He's the intellectual version of Darth R. Perry. I know that sounds weird, and I know that sounds crazy. That man has actively undermined the black community. Remember, this was the same man 5 years ago who wrote an op-ed piece talking about there's no systemic racism. He wrote that in August of that year. You saw what happened to George Floyd. You saw what happened to Breonna Taylor, and you had the nerve to say that. You had the nerve to say that. This person says Sowell being effectively blackballed for his entire career has been wrong. Oh my God. The man literally was on TV a couple years ago. How was he blackballed? I'll explain it to y'all. He's not blackballed. People looked at his economic theories and his economic papers and they said it's not working here like it used to work. He developed his theories between the 50s and the 80s. That was different. America was starting to go global at the rate that it's at now. It made sense for his theories to work in that environment. We're in 2025. The old concepts are not working anymore. By the way, this is the same man they're lauding right now who shitted on Trump. Y'all can go back to the Thomas Sowell live that we did. I showed it in there. We'll show it again. Here's an excerpt. Dr. Thomas Sowell evaluating Trump, but someone who has not matured in 70 years seems unlikely to grow up in the next 4 years. There was a time when someone who publicly mocked a handicapped man would have told us all that we need to know about his would have told us all we need to know about his character. What kind of man would want Hillary Clinton at his wedding, much less boast about having her there? Well, boast of whatever. A shoot from the hip, belligerent show off is the last thing we need or can afford. I can learn something from Thomas Sowell. Let me explain something to you, Jamie. Number one, you didn't even say good morning to the room or the host, but that's fine. Number two, I already read the books and I already read the papers. There ain't nothing you could teach me about Thomas Sowell. Y'all love Thomas Sowell because he takes shots at black people. But fine, since you came in here and told everybody that we should learn something from Thomas Sowell, we're going to put you in the spotlight. I'm going to sit down in your chair. You get to go in front of the class. Teach us something about Thomas Sowell. Go ahead. Let's have fun. Don't run. Let me see how bold you are. Teach us something about Thomas Sowell. Go ahead. Yeah, he's still alive. He's 95. He'll be 96 this year. That's Larry Elder's best friend. Come on, Jamie, don't run. Tell us something about Thomas Sowell one time. Because I love when Fox News brings him on for economics. I'm sorry, they don't bring him on for economics. They bring him on to talk about social justice issues. The same man who sat in front of Biden, who was arguing for racism in the black community, power to him, then came back around and wrote that op-ed talking about there's no systemic racism. And a man who works in economics, which includes the banking sector. Boy, you better go on. Come on, Jamie, why'd you run? Come on now. Kira, remember when Trump was in office the first time, everybody wanted him to go talk to Claude Anderson. He ain't want to talk to him because Claude Anderson would have told him about himself. And that would have been on record, on film. Sir, ma'am, we don't discriminate over here. You said you can learn something. I just told you. I read the books and the papers. His stuff is antiquated. But you came in here and worded that to a way that you can teach us something about that man. You know something we don't. We're giving you the opportunity. Tell us something. What are we missing about Thomas Sowell? Go ahead. Because this is the same man who said, I'm divorced from the black community, but you want the black community to laud him up. Pretty sure, whatever race you are, if one of your people said, I hate all of y'all, y'all wouldn't praise him. Promise you wouldn't do it. Y'all wouldn't invoke that person's name like they're paying you to do it. But again, you're teaching now. Go ahead. Tell us something that we missed about Thomas Sowell. What is this?
In the presidential campaign, you wrote a column, this is when you still had your column, that appeared under the headline,
They took a shot at him in 10 seconds. They love him.
Choose Trump. He'd be easier to impeach. And you wrote that voters faced a choice between, I'm quoting you, two out-of-control people, one of whom is going to be president. And you said since Hillary Clinton would be the first woman chief executive, she'd be very difficult to impeach. But Trump would be easier to kick out, so vote for Trump. Now that he's been in office for a year, what do you make of it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting. Oh, gosh. You know...
So wait, family, tabernacle. I have a question for the tabernacle. Can I get the church emoji in the chat for a second? For those that are here. And good morning, Brother Torian. I saw you. Good morning, Wild J. I seen you, Miss Nancy. I seen y'all. Let me get one of these Altoids. We can talk. Give me that church emoji one time. Even the Christ symbol. I care less which one. I have a question, and I don't know. Oh, you a Hotep? Well, Jamie, I'll have Strong Dad on here later, so we gotta have a conversation later. Easy, Wallow J. We're gonna be respectful. It's Monday. Okay, we got a couple church emojis. How come old MAGA and the rest of them Trump supporters didn't say that Thomas Sowell, upon hearing that, he didn't have TDS? Because if you were here for the live yesterday, you saw how many times I was trying to explain what was going on with them tires and how Trump got punked. They said that I had TDS. I saw them comments. I ignored most of them. I just want to know. How come he don't have TDS? They wrote, takes a real man to admit when he's wrong. How come y'all don't let no? These motherfuckers is hilarious. What do you mean you don't diagnose like that? What? Excuse me? Wait a minute, just like you, excuse me? What do you mean y'all don't diagnose like that? Now you're gonna have to explain that. Let me play this. You're gonna have to explain that one.
Let me say that just recently, Walter Williams sent me a video of Donald Trump in his mid-30s being interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've had to back off on one of the things I've said, which is that Trump is someone who has simply never grown up. He was very grown
Jamie, who's a hotep?
up in his mid-30s.
Speaking of retrogression.
And it's scary because how many people are more mature in their mid-30s than they are at age 70?
What?
All right. And given the trend line, how optimistic should we be about his becoming more grown up as time goes on?
All right.
And
Did he just say Donald Trump grew up because he's in his 70s now? What? He didn't say that. Wait a minute. I know it's hard to hear him talk. Let me make sure. I know Alicia. Good morning. He confused me here too. I'm gonna play it again because I don't know what he's talking.
he was very grown up in his mid-30s.
Speaking of retrogression.
He was very, which is that Trump is someone who has simply never grown up. He was very grown up in his mid-30s.
Speaking of retrogression.
And it's scary because how many people are more mature in their mid-30s than they are at age 70?
Huh?
And given the trend line, how optimistic should we be about his becoming more grown up as time goes on?
So did he literally just say Donald Trump was more mature in his 30s than he? I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What is he talking about? Huh? Donald Trump has never been mature. What are you talking? Oh, Lord. The same man who used to go into his pageants, dressing rooms while women are changing. That man. Why? Because he did interviews and his hair was brown or brunette or whatever it was. That means he was mature. Okay, Jamie, how is Umar our leader? Or my leader? What are you talking about? Huh? Y'all just writing things that we don't praise Umar over here. We laugh when he says something funny, but we don't praise that man. Let's get back to Thomas Sowell. You want to go in on Umar? Go to Black Alpha Network's channel. The fuck? Look, Larry Elder talking about he need a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Wait, no, he don't. Wait a minute. Y'all were the same folk that got mad that Dwayne Wade got one. Huh? So Dwayne Wade is on the same level as Thomas Sowell. Are you content with that? I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. Y'all going to get mad. Denzel Washington is over Thomas Sowell. And he's 20 years younger. I know I said it. 6 people just left that I said that. It's probably Thomas Sowell fans. But that's okay. Look, I wrote this back last year, November 7th. Hey, MAGA, Thomas Sowell grifted on Trump, but a lot of y'all quote him. This was from 2016. Why Donald Trump is dangerous. Why y'all didn't say he had TDS then? I just want to know. Why Donald Trump is dangerous. I'm just asking questions here. Y'all got to explain this man. Say he has what? Sir, I ain't got no leader. So I don't know what you're talking about. First off, Umar's not pro-black. Maybe you don't know what's been going on with him. Just like Thomas Sowell, him and Umar could be uncle and nephew. Umar's been actively going against the black community. So how is he pro-black? Just saying. The code black first is, if you want to call that a leader, that's what I follow. I don't follow no man. But that's okay. People like Paul Krugman were saying that when Trump gets in, the economy is going to tank. No, the economy hit new highs. There are so many people, especially among the intelligentsia, who are absolutely immune to the facts. Now, let me see what this is.
In a way that no one had predicted. People like Paul Krugman was saying that when Trump gets in, the economy is going to tank.
Sir, don't do that, because he just shitted on Trump, and now he's saying nobody predicted it, that the economy was going to be great. Tom Sowell, you never said that. You were more worried about what Trump was saying. MAGA, why didn't y'all say that he got TDS? This sounds like a grift. They want Thomas Sowell to be outside all the time now because this is the type of black pastor they like. They're going to lie to him. They're going to tell him sweet nothings. And they ain't going to offer no solutions. He's going to tell them that they're above what's going on outside in the secular world. Oh boy, y'all gonna make me play the Mark Levin interview again. Donald Trump should give the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Thomas Sowell. No. Take a look at the timeline of the U.S. national debt. The trends are clear. Are we gonna do that when we do the CPI report live? We're going to do that. Appreciate the suggestion. We'll add that into it. Because that's the other thing. Why Thomas Sowell on the outside tweeting, trying to tell these folk about how bad these tariffs are. But, we got a whole bunch of pseudo economists running around. But that's okay. They're going to learn. This person said, it's worth going back and reading what the great Dr. Thomas Sowell, it's not great, but okay, has written about tariffs. MAGA people have been saying Trump should award him a Presidential Medal of Freedom. You think they would do him the honor of reading his work? And for those who don't know and don't want to waste their time hearing what that man or reading what that man wrote, he basically said that tariffs are a bad idea. You have to use them strategically. Trump is just out there just throwing this shit around. But, they know what's best. Think about it. The people that are advocating for you are Larry Elder, who couldn't get on the Republican national stage to debate for president, and Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, a Canadian immigrant. Ted Cruz. Well, Alicia, every time I tell them about bricks, they tell me I'm crazy. No. Here we go. Trump honoring Thomas Sowell and Clarence Thomas for Black History Month is based. It's really not. It's really not. He mentions, hold up, family. Remember when our great master teachers and the current teachers have been telling us they love the fact that they run outside and they fight for this white acceptance, including their name being mentioned. That's what we've devolved into. We're at the crossroads where folk are putting in where they've been seen. Who follows them? Who cares? You can't take it with you. Trump follows me. Okay. So what? When you write a tweet, does he always put a response underneath? Now that's the question. No, then that's meaningless. Well, Alicia, you got to stop telling them that. They really think, they've been saying that all night, that Canada, they need us. And I keep telling y'all, they don't. Who came out last night talking about some, oh, I forgot who it was. Somebody from Texas said, Texas economy is bigger than Canada's. Okay. And you operate with 49 other states and territories outside of the US. Canada has access to over 100 countries. I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. But why didn't y'all wake up Thomas Sowell out of his crib to have him explain this to you? Because I think, you know what's going to happen, family? They're going to put this man up here during Black History Month. He going to get some traction. And somebody going to find what he said about tariffs. And they're going to turn on him. Well, Charles, we just call him Governor Wheels. Shout out to Torian for that. Y'all are going to learn. Y'all set this man. I told y'all don't like. I told family. Didn't I tell y'all that they don't like Thomas Sowell? They just use him to dunk on us. You're seeing it right now. They're setting this man up. Y'all gonna take out. Y'all gonna cancel a near 96-year-old. Ain't that a bitch? Black people, don't you rescue this man. Don't do it. Let the black conservatives do it. They gonna have to learn. Because they swear up and down that when we say that white folk really don't like you, they think we lying. Okay. Let me ask y'all a question then, since we're talking about black conservatives. How come Laverne Spicer lost 3 times in her elections? But white people love her, right? Let her tell it. Let y'all tell it. She based. CJ Pearson, you got a mercy booking. You lost that election. They put you as the young chair for the RNC. Nobody cares. Y'all's Kim Klacik. She lost twice. She lost twice. Where were y'all at to help her in Maryland? I'm just asking questions. Remember, folks, these were the same people who sat in that Twitter space during during Calendar Gate, listening to them women explain why they should be able to exploit themselves in a calendar by some conservative white man who's trying to sell beer. And by the way, we know it didn't make that many sales because the white man hasn't come back outside since. Here we go. Trump is openly acknowledging the GOAT, Thomas Sowell, and commies are pissed. Commies. Okay. Trump must award Sowell. He must award Sowell the Presidential Medal of Freedom while this wonderful man is still with us. How about he won't do it? How about he won't? He threw that out there just to see who was still on his team. Trump respects Frederick Douglass more than he respects Thomas Sowell. If Frederick Douglass long gone. He respects Harriet Tubman more, even though y'all say that she's a whole myth. He respects her more. He respects Clarence Thomas more than he respects Thomas Sowell. Which one of them black conservatives around him told him to mention that man's name? Never brought his ass to the White House. Think about that. The first 4 years, Thomas Sowell didn't go to the White House. Trump is so real for giving a shout out to Thomas Sowell. No, he not. Look, this guy couldn't even spell that man's name right. Oh. Okay, G and D Jackson. I'm assuming because it's not about race, it's about, you spelled merit wrong. And policy. Why is everything always about race? People just tired of being broke. Because that's how white society set it up to be. Because if they didn't play race games, they would be lost in the shuffle. The cream would rise to the top. And more often than not, the minority, non-white, would be excelling above them. They can't have that. You're right. Society's not coffee. Society is Panera bread. Society is about choices. Society is about diversity. Even in your homogenous countries, there's diversity. Diversity of thought, diversity of culture. The problem with the West is they like to weaponize culture. They like to weaponize race. Now it's biting them back. They're not dealing with the 60s folk. They're dealing with the 2020 folk. We're not with that. What are we going to do to stop making about race and color? Y'all, everybody in the room is going to hate me saying this, but it's never going to stop. 2020, the census came out, correct? The age of delineation started. Everybody was getting separated out outside of just race. They started talking about ethnicities and nationalities. They're doing it on job applications now. They just exacerbated the problem more by talking about DEI all day. Everybody except a straight white male is DEI, even though the straight white male is DEI. But of course, Thomas Sowell ain't gonna tell you that because he has to keep it good with Massa. Thomas Sowell, I'm sorry, folks who love that man, he's DEI. He's a textbook definition of DEI. And I'm going to tell you why he's a textbook definition of DEI. Because not now one of y'all can sit up there and tell me what the metric for merit is. D, we've already talked about Margaret Sanger ad nauseum. She's dead. Next question. We're keeping it on Thomas Sowell. Notice, she's so dead, the left don't even talk about her no more. Once they linked her to Hillary Clinton, her legacy was dead in the water. Don't even bring her up no more. Sir, D, based on the textbook definition of DEI, he's diverse, isn't he? He came in when economists were usually white, correct? That would be inclusion. Y'all prop up his words so much that it holds more weight than established white economics people, right? That's equity, DEI. See how that works? Now you're gonna get upset that I said that. Not only did I just prove that he's DEI, I also just proved the fallacy in that argument. Because now you're upset that I brought that up. So even you know the metric is stupid. But this is what we're living in with now. Okay, great. D with all the dots. Tell me how to get it off of merit. Go ahead. We're going to have fun this morning. Tell me. What is the metric for merit? Let me know. How to get it on merit? Let me know. Once again, programming update. We got the strong dad who is part of the Hoteps. He's coming on to talk about trades. We're going to have fun. 2 tradesmen talking. It's going to be fun. You said there was no such thing as DEI back then. DEI was back then. It just wasn't called DEI. See how that worked? But I'm going to ask you again. What is the metric for merit? That I want to know. What's the metric for merit? Didn't he send me? Wait, Williams? Oh, no, he sent it to me on the profile. No, I'm not paying for X. I'm not giving up my ID to Israel. What do you mean? You said he got it on merit. Tell me how did he get it on merit? I want you to explain that to me. If you're saying he's not DEI, you said he got it off of merit. What is the metric for merit? What is our baseline to say that someone got it off merit and they didn't get it off DEI? We have a line. Above it is merit. Below it is DEI. What is the metric for Thomas Sowell? Sir, it was on his color because nobody that looked like him was talking economics like that back in the day. Now, were they? Where is the abundance of black economics that they were respecting when he was coming up in the 60s and the 70s? Where were they? Who were they? I want y'all to understand that y'all are the people that play this argument, they're not making sense. They're trying to play a double standard. That's not a standard. So I'm going to ask you again, what is the metric for merit? What is the metric? So we can all know. Okay. GED said to hire based on merit means to hire who is most qualified and fits the position best. Okay. Correct. So why are people in 2025 still having a problem with that concept? His own, sir. His own. He fought for his right to be where he is. It isn't given to him because of his color. Yet y'all are propping him up because of his color. Okay, G&D. Black Americans in the U.S. that have people who have been here since slavery, yes, they're entitled to reparations. Who pays? The U.S. government. Likewise, my people are from Jamaica. We have 8 or 9 countries that exploited the island, including Africa, the western side, those countries. They got to pay. Likewise, if you're white, you know who enslaved you back in the day. Since white people say that they're slaves as well, go get your money. Not that hard. Thomas, I have way more concept of history than you do, but we could play that game. You could answer the question. Tell me how Thomas Sowell got it off of merit. Go ahead. Since you want to interrupt and make it about you. Because myself and D with all the periods were actually having a great conversation. Now you want to make it about you. Go ahead and tell me how Thomas Sowell got it out the mud. Go ahead. Tell me what the metric is for merit. I'd like to know that. I love how y'all coming in here talking about I ain't got no concept of history, but it seems like nobody coming in here agreeing with you. But go ahead. Let's have fun. Because, hell, there's an argument that could be made that Dr. Richard Wolff is better than Thomas Sowell. Now, do you want to compare resumes? Just saying. I'm sure there's people out there that say Jim Cramer got more of an economic pulse than Thomas Sowell. When y'all start playing them DEI, who got it out the mud, merit and all that, you start diminishing everybody. Y'all got to stop doing that. And your president's not doing that. He out there just labeling everything DEI because he wants to stay in good graces with MAGA. Again, I ask you, what is the metric for merit? Because it's obvious y'all know what it is and nobody else knows. So y'all tell us, what is the metric? Telling me he got it when the time was there, that's not enough. There's got to be a metric. There's got to be a number. There's got to be a through line. What is it? Because y'all are bringing this up and telling me that Thomas Sowell was right when he said this, back in the 70s or the 80s. Tariffs are different now. Again, these countries couldn't afford back then not to do business with the U.S. They can afford it now. No, G&D, I'm not even mad at you. I'm mad at Thomas since he wants to come in here and not address the room and say good morning. He just want to come in here and tell me I don't know nothing about history. I asked him a simple question. What is the history? I'll even reword it so I'll help him out. Thomas, hey, Tommy, what is the historic measurement for merit? Please let us know. What is the historic measurement? Because we've seen everybody degrade people's degrees. So it can't be that. You're going to tell me he wrote 52 books. Anybody can write 52 books. Somebody could write 52 ebooks right now in a year. Am I allowed to put them on the level of Thomas Sowell because they made sales? Or people started quoting them? You got people running on TV and social media talking about meritocracy, and they couldn't even tell you how their merit stacks up against somebody that's actually put in work. You have influencers telling you right now you need to listen to them, and they got it out of merit because they built something that other people paid for. They grifted into their position. Most of your conservative influencers were not conservative at any time in their life. They all tell you, I used to be on the left. I used to be a liberal. I used to be Democrat. And as soon as Trump came around and he started going up, they's like, oh, I'm conservative now. I'm a Republican now. I'm MAGA now. And all them motherfuckers ran in and gave him money. Thomas Sowell would be ashamed of him. Same man in 2016 that they praised said that Trump was infantile. He was sitting there praising Hillary Clinton. The supposed black Republican, the supposed black conservative was praising Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump. Because even he knows she is a representation of his favorite president, Ronald Reagan. Oh, DSA 1, you know they never gonna put that in lily white neighborhoods. Are you crazy? Put a Planned Parenthood where Marjorie Taylor Greene live at. Lord. She be flying on her broom all the way back down here, start yelling at everybody. Good morning, Millie. Did y'all stop the maple syrup yet? Oh, Lord. That's how y'all got to win the trade war. Stop the maple syrup and the lumber and the oil. You'll see how quick Trump talking about, let's do a deal. Come on now. This is not what you think is good. I'm telling you, this is not going to end the way you think it is. I'm just telling y'all this right now. Y'all say he's a real American hero. I swear if they ever find out about the Fairmont Conference, boy, Lord. He sold out a whole faction of the Republican Party and didn't get no tangibles out of it, family. I want y'all to understand this because we showed that in the live. He got no tangible benefit out of it. The only person that got a tangible benefit out of the Fairmont Conference was Ed Meese, who became, in Reagan's second term, his chief of staff. Right? No, I'm sorry. His attorney general. Or one of those two positions. I forget the exact one. But he got next to Reagan. Did Thomas Sowell get next to Reagan? Hell no. Did he get a job? Hell no. They said, thank you, Mr. Black Man, and the rest of you black people, thank you. Thank you for boosting us up. Thank you for chasing down them black folks that were leaving because they knew you were selling out. Thank you. But y'all want us to praise this man during Black History Month. Oh my Lord. They don't get it. He called this man Tom. He don't even got enough respect for this man to call him Thomas. He called him Tom. But if this was Trump, they would not call him Don. He called him Tom. And bet you when they do screw him over, Thomas Sowell, and they make his name a pariah, ain't nobody gonna defend him. Ain't nobody gonna defend him. And then black conservatives are gonna come outside talking about why the black community not defending Thomas Sowell, he black. And we gonna tell you he made his bed. We not gonna flip flop. When you disrespect the black community, we not gonna flip flop. Think about it. When Candace Owens was disrespecting the black community, she got her wake up calls. Did we defend her? No. When Rob Smith did what he did after denigrating the black community and he got caught in Phoenix with them white boys, did we defend him? No. Look how y'all treated Chrisette Michelle. I'm not saying y'all. Y'all all right. Black folks, look how they treated Chrisette Michelle. That girl couldn't even get work for years. I bet you if Snoop come out and talk about somehow he got a new album coming out though, y'all bought it though. Can you ask who Thomas Sowell is? I only have my phone, so I can't look him up yet. Thomas Sowell is an economist from way back in the day. You're not taking away his accomplishments. He did what he did. More power to him. He's got more notoriety the last 30 to 40 years because he started talking on issues of the black community, even though this is the same man who not only married 2 white women, but he said, I'm divorcing myself from the black community. But white publications and white networks like to bring him on to talk about the problems of the black community. Because they know if they go on there and say something, they're going to be deemed racist. So they let him say it, even though the stuff that he says makes no sense. This is the same man who said, I recognize there's racism, but it's not systemic. But you're an economist. And one of the 9 areas of human activity is the economic sector. You literally watch black people have to go do underhanded things to get appraisals corrected for their homes and all these lawsuits, and you had the nerve to say that there's no systemic racism. In 2020, he wrote that. In 2020. We just came off George Floyd. We just came off Breonna Taylor. The riots were going on. He had the nerve to say that. Kyle Rittenhouse did what he did. You had the nerve to say that. And people quote him like he's saying something. I ain't got no economics degree, and I sat there for a live 2.5 hours and debunked everything he said. His economic policies, we debunked live. This man took Reagan era concepts and said that it can work today. He said to tax companies more so it'll spur production. He said that. What was the result? All them corporations went overseas. Lou, nobody's crying, but okay. Nobody's crying. Somebody asked a question, I gave him an answer. He don't know nothing what's going on in the black community. Nothing. Leon, I actually respect Ben Carson for this fact. He actually got it out the mud. Before he sold out. He actually got it out the mud. I read his book. No problem, G&D. I actually respect that. The extra shit, nah. But the stuff he did as a doctor, I respect it. This here, nah. I shouldn't be able to debunk your economic positions. I don't have an economics degree. I was a great economic student in school, but I shouldn't be able to do this. And again, people don't bring him up for economics. They bring him up for social stuff. Case in point, just what he said about Trump. That's a social issue. Notice this, during the election cycle, nobody brought him up to talk about what Trump's option, with Trump's positions and what he wants to do. Is that viable? Nobody brought him up to talk about that. But he's an economist. They were asking Jim Cramer all day. They asked Richard Wolff all day. Fox Business didn't bring him up. Breitbart didn't ask for a quote. Newsmax, no. OAN, no. None of them other channels. And they got access to him because they have access to Larry Elder. Not now one and put him on. Larry Elder didn't even put out an interview and say, I sat down with Thomas Sowell to talk about what Trump was doing. And that's his best friend. But y'all want me to respect this man. Y'all don't even respect him. What is this?
Black History Month. He mentioned how Black Americans have had a hand in shaping this nation's history. He mentioned people like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Thomas Sowell, and Justice Clarence Thomas. He also mentioned how we are going into a golden age under his administration. And
that remains to be seen.
Expressed gratitude to the Black Americans who have helped shape America's history, and is expressing gratitude also to the Black Americans in the future who will help shape this nation's history under his administration. One thing I thought to point out is the fact that he never mentioned African American. He only said Black American, recognizing that
you forgot to mention that Black was lowercase. Okay.
That all Americans are one, right? We just have different skin colors. I also want to say thank you because I know that under his administration, it will be amazing, not just for the Black Americans, but also for all Americans. All Americans are going to be prosperous, not just the Black community, but all communities. And I hope that, under his administration, we are able, as all Americans, to...
So what does that look like? So all communities are going to be prosperous, including the Black community. So we're going to get to the level that they're at now, and everybody's going to still be ahead of us. They're going to get more. Black Americans are going to be put at a level where everybody is right now in 2025. Good to know. This is why we told y'all, you got to worry about yourselves. If you get some extra set-asides, take it. But yeah. He is capable of explaining complex theories to unsophisticated or uneducated minds. But y'all told us that y'all are the smartest. Why do you need somebody else to explain complex theories? These theories that he puts out there are not complex. Thomas Sowell is saying things you hear today. How is it complex? You know how you break a complex theory? You learn the basics. You don't do calculus if you can't do algebra. You're going to be lost. He made the right call. So the way I'm reading these people saying that Trump was right to mention him in all this, this man, they want this man just to be mentioned because he's black. Free college education for the black community, they already did that. That's already been done, G&D. That was done way back in the day. My older folk could tell you, a lot of colleges was free. City college was free. They already did that. People were getting educations free off the government. Schooling right now is technically free for our children. We just pay the taxes on it. That's not the issue. What the issue should be, if you want to fix the black community, I've lobbied for this for years. Recertify the high schools and the middle schools. Let these kids learn trades. Inside of a generation, you will chisel into that debt significantly. I promise you. They don't want to do that though, because once you empower children like that, when they get 18, you can't tell them nothing. How the hell you gonna tell an 18-year-old that has a trade under his or her belt, starting out making $70,000, $80,000 a year? How the hell you gonna tell them that you need to listen to them? You need to get into debt. You need to get this credit card. You need to get this car loan. No, they're going to be financially more adept than somebody that has a goddamn college degree mixed with either a master's or a PhD. They're massively in debt. They can't get the job they want. And they'll be in a trade, so they'll never be without a job. And probably 10-1, while they're learning their trade, they also learn how to run a business. For as much as America loves to talk about our small businesses are the backbone of our society, they don't want to support small businesses because they can't afford a lobby in DC. But them damn corporations can. Let's see what he says here. Thomas Sowell's perspective on Donald Trump being a racist. Now, we can tell by the way this Fox News thing looks. This was old school. So let's see. Well, Ron, if you want to be $600 in debt with a medical degree, I don't think that's going to help because you're going to be working the first few years just trying to pay off that debt. I'd rather be debtless with at least 1 or 2 trades under my belt. I'll never be out of work. They can lay a doctor off anytime they want. Besides, they're trying to change the way people do medical in this country and around the world. They're trying to bring AI into it. Doctors will be replaced within the next 10 years. The AI will be the second and the accepted opinion. I don't think y'all want to go down that road.
It's more social.
But it's good to see you. It's been a while.
Discourse, particularly throwing around terms, very, very harsh terms like race, calling people racist as a sort of a go-to place, particularly for liberals against against this administration. We heard last week Michael Cohen's testimony in front of Congress. He started out by saying what a racist President Trump is. What would you say about that?
Real quick, G&D, you need to learn algebra and science, especially if you're going to go into trades. You need to learn how to add and subtract. You need to learn how to do hypothesis. You need to learn angles. You need to learn that. You need to learn proportions. You need to learn percentages. You have to learn algebra and science.
And particularly with regard to President Trump, do you consider him to be racist?
I don't know enough about the man to know what he is, but I would.
You don't know what he is.
Accusation accompanied by something that we can test against facts.
Well,
So because he's been around black people mention him in songs that don't make him a racist. That's what they thought about Tommy Hilfiger. Okay.
certainly you've heard the charge anti-Semitism against him, despite the fact that his daughter is a convert to Judaism, his son-in-law is a Jew, their children are being raised in the Jewish tradition. Kind of hard to make the case, and yet you still hear it.
That's his daughter. What the hell? That's his daughter. The most he can do is disown her. I don't think Trump's going to do that because that looks bad on him.
Well, if people have never heard those things because the media filters out things that go against what they believe, then the charge can stick no matter what the facts may happen to be.
Professor, I almost hate to ask this question because you're so honest about things. You see things straight on. The future of America. I mean, do you think that we are destined to go through a period of socialism, a period where these ideas that have not worked, no matter where they've been tried, it certainly wouldn't work here, will be tried here and could bring down our country?
Well, the predictions of economists do not encourage me to go far in that direction. But I do have a great fear that in the long run, we may not make it. And I hate to say that, but and the one thing that keeps me from being despairing is, of course, we don't know. There's so many things we can't possibly know, and so we may make it, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Thomas Sowell.
How come he's not suffering from TDS? Who picked up on this little 2.5 minutes? Who picked it up? There was something very important in here. I wonder who picked it up. I'm going to play it again.
Here will be tried here and could bring down our country. You see things straight on. The future of America. I mean, do you think that we are destined to go through a period of socialism, a period where these ideas that have not worked, no matter where they've been tried, and certainly wouldn't work here, will be tried here and could bring down our country?
Well, the predictions of economists do not encourage me to go far in that direction. But I do have a great fear that in the long run, we may not make it, and I hate to say that, but and the one thing that keeps me from being despairing is of course we don't know. There's so many things we can't possibly know, and so we may make it, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Who picked it up? The so-called economist said the predictions of other economists, I'm not going to take. He basically said, I'm not going to take it at face value, but I don't think we're going to make it. But we might make it. He don't even know. He didn't even present his arguments. Either or for both. He didn't even do that. He's an economist. According to them, the greatest economist ever in their lifetime. And he's not sitting up there spending at least a minute explaining how we could make it, or how, if these policies are enacted, how we're not going to make it. He didn't even do that. But they're telling me that we need to respect this man. This man is unsure of himself. G&D, correct. I'm glad you picked that up as well. He's not confident in his words because they don't bring him on for that. They bring him on for things he can't talk about to make them feel better. Listen to what the dude said.
Things straight on. I hate to ask this question because you're so honest about things. You see things straight on.
AKA, you see things the way we want to see them, the way we see things, and thank God you're following us. We tell people all the time, they like it when you talk like them. Say something they don't like, they will turn on you. Which is why I mentioned earlier, when they find out what he said about tariffs, they're gonna turn on him. When they find those clips when he was cussing Trump's name, they're gonna turn on him. And I'm cool with it. There you go. Imagine if our governments were run by people like Dr. Sowell instead of the lobotomized degenerates who currently do. He said this in September 6th. Okay. The white man came back on him and said, according to Thomas Sowell, Trump is an utter disaster. You do not make America great again by raising the prices to Americans, which is what a tariff does. What we're going to do for all you Thomas Sowell fans, I spelled that man's name wrong. I should leave it like that. Because that after they turn on him, that's going to be his new name, Thomas Owell. Like Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum, and other black conservitude. Oh, I forgot about Larry Elder. Because I'm sure he bounced this off of Larry before he published it. You know what? I should have played this. I should have showed that yesterday. That would have screwed them all. Man, I should have did that yesterday. Damn. Oh, yeah, the Hodge twins, too. We're going to tag them in that. Thank you. We're going to tag the Hodge twins. Siamese coons. Let them hold that. Go ahead. Now explain that. Since you gave David Duke the N-word pass, there you go. Since y'all want to talk about tariffs all day. Wait, you know who else? Wait a minute. Gunther Eagleman says he likes to talk stuff online. Yeah, you get that too. Oh, yeah. And Tim Pool. Yeah, you were talking real spicy about how Canada's going to lose that war. Okay. You know what I'm going to start doing? Next time I see them type of posts, I'm just going to put this Thomas Sowell thing in there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to direct message it to myself. That way I have it. And every time I see it, I'm going to copy and paste it. That's your man. Your great economist even said it was a bad idea. But go ahead. Ma'am, he's not an intellectual icon. But again, this is who says it. Enough said. That's who said that. You couldn't pay me enough to do that picture. You want to talk about pause? I know it's 2 elephants. You couldn't pay me enough. Look how many tweets he wrote. 257,000. For 44,000 followers. Have your fun. He dedicated his life to saving America. Oh, Lord. Saving America, but he not outside. But Tariz, is it viable that it may ever get rid of income tax? No. Get rid of income tax? Wait, so you're saying the government is going to give up state money that they collect from most of the country? There ain't no way in the world. Ain't no way in the world. You're saying the American government is going to get away with the tax codes? They're going to get rid of it? We only got to pay state tax? The American government signed off on that? Sign me up for that. Because we know what's going to happen. Everybody going to move to every state that has no state tax. They'll never pay taxes. Never. They'll be in Tennessee, Florida, goddamn Washington State, Nevada, Texas. I forgot the other one. Was it Wisconsin? No, it's probably not Wisconsin. There's another one. They never pay taxes again. Those states will be overrun. Texas will be at the border on all sides, ready to tell y'all, go back home. Trump ain't never doing that. If we were producing, he'd have a better argument. We're not producing like we used to. Listen, Trump said a lot of things to get people to vote for him. Again, he was the same person who said, quote, we're going to bring down the price of groceries and gas. The second he got elected, the first day after, he said, bringing down the grocery prices is going to be tough. But you campaigned on that. You sound like Bush won when he said, we're not going to raise taxes. And then you came out that you have to raise taxes as soon as you get back in. And the people said, I'm not voting for that. A spot up north? I think it's New Hampshire. Yeah, I think it's New Hampshire. They're tax free too. But ain't nobody going to New Hampshire. It's too damn cold. Ain't gonna have to deal with the Massachusetts idiots. They ain't gonna do that. Maybe only the Africans. Maybe only the Africans. Little G&D, I've heard that too, but when it happens, we'll see. And then you got to ask this question. What did Trump promise him? Now, it doesn't make sense if they come back and we find out later that they're not paying any tax. Because then he's going to have a revolt in this country. How the hell are you letting corporations not pay tax, but you taxing us whenever y'all want, however y'all want? I don't see it, but we'll look it up. Let's see. So what is this? This was in 2023. More than 90% of North American companies have relocated production and sourcing over the past 5 years. That includes his administration. No, Delaware had no sales tax. I think Delaware has no sales tax. My grandparents used to live there. I think they have no sales tax. I think they changed it though. Yeah. Delaware is one of 5 states in the U.S. that does not impose a state sales tax. Instead, it relies on other forms of taxation, such as a gross receipts tax on certain businesses. Remember, they're a banking haven. All right, where was that? There you go. Let's see. Business Insider. When was this? July 2022. Okay. I'm not paying for that. Here we go. Bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. Easier said than done. Why would they come back? They're going to have to pay people here more. They're not going to do that. They're going to make a hella profit. And it's going to cost them more anyway because they're going to have to import the parts that they're going to need. And it's going to cost them more. Who's ready for that social media tax? Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. I was going to mention this when we talked about the TikTok ban, but I wanted to wait. Who ready for that social media tax? I could see in the next couple years, you getting your phone bills, you getting your cable bills, and you getting taxed for going on social media. I could see it. Especially since Trump has these social media giants in his back pocket. I could see that. It's not going to be a lot. And people, you know how people are. If it's a few cents, they're going to say, you know what? I'm willing to pay it just so I could get my voice out there. I'll pay it. Not even knowing they're going to make billions off your words. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a tracking system to know how long you've been on social media. They putting out all them numbers all the time about how long, how many videos you upload, how many live streams are going on, the minutes that people are watching. It wouldn't surprise me if they try to meter that. G&D, they've had that idea ever since social media became big. They've just been trying to figure out how to do it. I could even see them cell phone companies having social media packages. Like they'll give you the apps, like the premium stuff on these apps. You just pay a little bit more. Like T-Mobile will say something like, we have an exclusive version of Facebook. Like you'll get like Facebook Premium. You'll get like all their premium stuff that you usually pay for. You just pay a monthly fee. I could see something like that. Oh yeah, long game. Now I don't know if this is even real. This could be just somebody talking. Bet you Thomas Sowell won't talk about this. Well, G&D, they already do that though. They do that on the games already. They do that on social media already with the ads. They already do that. Look, at this point, the way that Netflix and them are rising their prices, people like, screw it. I saw people talking about they still haven't paid for YouTube Premium. They'll go through the ads. They're fine with it. See, here we go. Maryland became the first state in the nation to place a tax on revenue from online advertising. Basically, Maryland will levy a tax of anywhere from 2.5% to 10% on annual gross revenue from digital ads. As might be imagined, the big tech companies went ballistic when this happened because the law appeared to be aimed squarely at them. They're going to figure out a way to monetize it for themselves. Look, New York, for example, is attempting to place a 5% tax on businesses engaged in data mining. And Indiana wants to tax social media companies that raise 7% on gross income from advertising services. Meanwhile, New Jersey is pondering a new tax of its own with a focus on digital advertising and data services. All told, as many as 9 states might be on the cusp of passing new taxes on social media companies. And I'm sure when Trump had them at the inauguration and they were getting to talking, he said, you ain't got to worry about that. Them states ain't going to get through. Here we go. If companies like Meta, parent of Facebook and Instagram, Alphabet, parent of Google, and Twitter have to pay higher taxes on online advertising revenue, that's going to make social media a whole lot less profitable for them. Right now, they are literally making billions of dollars by selling your data to advertisers. So you have to give some of that profit back. Do you really think they're going to stand idly by while this happens? Nope. See? Subscriptions and tier levels for individuals are one option. They're doing that on X. Free from Twitter HQs that free access will no longer be granted for use of its API. And all the developers lost their mind. You got to pay $100. We showed that in another live, how much money he was making off of that. And how somebody was telling they were paying like $20,000 just to access that. There you go. Twitch does it too. The days of completely free social media usage may be coming to an end. You'll be subscribing to these platforms and paying them a monthly fee just like Netflix. If you want something premium like a blue check mark next to your name, you may need to pay a higher fee. Instagram already lets you verify yourself and give you a free blue check, which I still don't understand why, but whatever. Twitter does it. Don't worry. Hey, I like this. To mitigate risk in this gray area of the tax law, advertisers should encourage influencers with significant following to include a statement on social media indicating they do not accept unsolicited gifts for promotion. You'll get taxed more. I wouldn't be surprised if they start trying to tax you on when y'all give y'all your cash apps. Because remember, they tried to do that the first time, and we know what happened after that. I wouldn't be surprised if the banks was like, listen, if you have your thing attached to that, we gonna take a little bit of a percentage off the top when you send your money over there. We want our cut. Which is gonna force Cash App to say, if you want to keep money here, you won't have to put it on the card. Because I'm sure it costs them to transfer that money. Business is business. Business is businessing. It is what it is. But hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I'll try to be better next time. Miss Nisi, I see you in the chat. Hello, beloved. I appreciate the fact that y'all didn't block nobody today. I appreciate it. Y'all listen to me for once. So we're going to give you a present before we go. Just to say thank you.
Life has definitely been lifing. I'm going to keep you guys updated with